Hej, hej! Ngelo Querro z tej strony, witam bardzo serdecznie w kolejnym odcinku gry Disciples Liberation. Aktualnie znajdujemy się w Ilian, no bo jakby nie spojrzeć, ukończyliśmy ostatni akt, pokonaliśmy upadłego anioła, spotkaliśmy się prawdopodobnie z naszą mamą i teraz ruszamy dalej. Zobaczymy też, co każda z tych postaci ma do powiedzenia, bo troszkę ich się nazbierało. Do you remember what was I doing when you found me in the Church of Saint Darchild? I was folding clothes for the orphans there. I had a lot going on that day, but yes, I remember. I've heard they're in Atellan now, aiding rebels no less. I would say I'm proud of them, but they're just children. They're likely to get themselves killed. Don't worry, if we go to Atellan, we'll find them. I'm curious how you're faring. The Holy Prior was no more holy than Nevendar's worst demon. Still, the attempt on my life brought you and I together. I suppose I should be thanking him. You're well read in history and the arts. Let's talk. Indeed I am. Just came from the library, in fact. Orion and I read together. Let's discuss the epoch of Inception. I had begun with fire, as all things do. Bethrezena formed a beautiful world and called it Nevenda. Galeon's touch spawned trees. Soloniel's tears rained water over them, and Wotan struck the world with his hammer, forming mountains. From each of those gods, elves, merfolk, giants, and dwarves bloomed. Then, finally, Bethrezena created mortal man. I want to know more about the Epoch of Descent. Bethrezena had created Nevendar as a gift for the High Father, and so sailed the celestial planes to him to call him here. The angels saw an opportunity. They despised Bethrezena and fostered malice in the hearts of all. War broke. When the High Father arrived, many thousands of years later, the soil was soaked in blood. He was outraged and imprisoned Bethrezena in the center of the world. The Empire of Men saw this power, rejected Bethrezena, and worshipped the High Father as their true creator. Tell me about the Epoch of Fire. Bethrezena's imprisonment had split heaven itself into 4 planes, and Nevendar was left to the fate hand to guide. Suffering of Nevendar was extreme. Bethrezena's anguish withered, hardened, and burned as rage. Fires erupted, and from them, demons were born with one desire: to exact revenge on the mortals who forsaken their father. O Jezu, a to dalej leci. What do we know about the Epoch of Darkness? The elves were being slaughtered by demons to the south and dwarves to the north. Galeon confronted Wotan, demanding he punish the dwarves for the crime. Instead, Wotan killed Galeon, tearing out his heart and hurling it into the sun's furnace. Soloniel dove into the sun to retrieve it. She was too late. Galeon had died, and so too would she. From the burnt husk of her corpse, the goddess of death, Mortis, emerged. I want to learn about the epoch of the First Great War. The demons changed after Mortis' birth. From wrath made flesh, they formed order and dark sects. What we know as the Unholy Legion. With that order came cunning. The demons extracted Uru and with it a magical dagger used to resurrect their god on Nevendar. The Empire and dwarves banded together to stop the demons, but in the distraction, Mortis stormed the mountains, killing many. The First Great War only ended because Mortis' lust was sated. And after murdering so many, she finally slept. I assume you know about the epoch of the Second Great War. The dagger of Uru was not destroyed in the carnage of the First Great War. Through unholy miracle, Bethrezena had birthed a son, Uther. His birthwalk Mortis, who drew his blood with the dagger, finally reanimated the dead god Gallian, but his mind was corrupted. Gallian was fueled by revenge, Mortis by scorn, and Wotan by indignity. They fought across the celestial plains, abandoning the people of Nevendar. Alone, the mortals of the world fought Nidhogg, a beast who sought to destroy the worlds in the god's absence. I want to know about the epoch of Inquisition. Count Flamel Crowley led an inquisition, first from within the empire, then against all the races. The people rose up to stop Flamel Crowley. They were undermined. A mighty demon named Nebiros swarmed half the world with legionaries. In the chaos, Gallian retreated. He was never seen again. Some say the Inquisition Regent is the reincarnation of Count Flamel Crowley, a horrifying thought. After the Inquisition came the epoch of elves, I think. Indeed it was. Gallian's mind ripped in two. One part was the love of his dear elves, the other pure hatred. The elves split in what's now known as the schism, zwał jak zwał. Some elves built cities and lived as the empire did. Others returned to the ways of their ancients. What followed was the bloodiest civil war in history. An elven oracle named Ngelo was destined to save the elves, but as with all the Vendar's prophets, she failed. The last epoch is now known about the epoch of rebirth. To true Aviana, it began with the angel Israel sending your mother Inoel to purge the Vendar once and for all. Bethrezena summoned Harhus, his most loyal servant, and your father to stop her. It worked, but not as Bethrezena intended. They fell in love in the battle of Nevendar. Wotan died, Harhus did also, but in the struggle he allowed Inoel to escape back to the Four Heavens. 300 years later, you were born. If the epoch of rebirth is over, where does that leave us? On the doorstep of the future, I'd say. Soothsayers call the forthcoming age the epoch of Heathens. One can only hope it is the first era of peace for our world. And might I say, thank you. I'm grateful for the time we've spent together. You're too kind to this old fool. No dobra, on the second thought. Until next time, Sebastian. My hunt for Vikarum'a is not over. Oh good. Orion's scouts have told me that somewhere in the wintry hellscape of Wotan's grave, she and her descendants toil. War must be fought, I understand this, but I will fight it with you. But in return, I ask that we find my sister, and I have my day. So Vikarum'a is in Wotan's grave. My dynasty are vain walkers. We followed the mana veins that cross the world, harvesting what we can, hoping to find the nexus, the source of all mana. You're right. Still in shock, frankly. Vikarum'a's daughters were older than I was when I died. I still don't know how much time has passed. We'll talk soon, shortly. Are you aware of the ritual of the blood tree? They're trees possessed by your ancestors. Not just possessed, they are our ancestors. We offered them sacrifices of flesh. The blood trees eat the meat of our enemies, and they bless us and give us wisdom. The blood trees of Atelan are worshipped by all elves. She who earns the blessing of the trees earns the right to unite the people. Noted. I wasn't planning on doing any sightseeing in Atelan, but for your sake, I say let's make an exception. Until later, or Muriel. Z kim to jeszcze mamy? Ilmerian i Melendrach. Ilmerian pets one of several falcons that have landed about her. They watch as you approach. Don't mind them, my falcons are my eyes. And in you they see wisdom. Actually, they're the reason I'm here. I wanted to talk to you about what you'll be doing now that you're with us. I assume you have something in mind, and I assume it's not Kurt Jester. Tempting, but after a few drinks that usually becomes my job. I need a spy master, you're already a falconer, which we can use to send messages quickly. You'd work as a pair with Charlia. I think you'll be thick as thieves, or assassins or spies. Plus, I know you were a mighty warrior in your past lives, and prefer facing your battles head on. But I also know my patience for battle reigns. A good spy cripples the enemy without even talking our life. Ilmerian, mistress of spies. It does suit me, doesn't it? Perfectly. I thought you'd answer that. I believe every honest answer deserves another. Your turn then. You're awfully eloquent for a warrior. How did you get so worldly? I read a book doesn't just open itself to you. You open yourself to it. There's a great power in that. Well, a spectacular chat as always until our next friendly tit for tat. So about the path of flesh and flame. I assumed you might be an expert on the realm. In fact, I lived there. Should we happen to find our way inside my old lair, I'd be deeply grateful. I hardly remember what it even looks like, but it lurks in the molten mists somewhere. Wotan's grave is a war zone, but it was once my home. You lived in the grave? No, in the forest rose. It was ravaged by vain walkers, by demons, by second woken. Manalus drives everyone to insanity, but I do not understand why. It isn't the mana, but the power that mana represents. Still, I'd like to see your home if you'll show me. I trust your opinion. Let's talk about the people of Ilian. I swear to only speak the truth. I'd like a read on Orion. He is loyal, caring and kind. These are greatest strengths, but because he views them as weaknesses, he uses humor to hide them. He should not. Tell me what you think of Corysandra. She has constructed herself based on the material world of her faith, but the self is not constructed thing, it is discovered thing. I wonder what Corysandra will discover if she searches herself out. Oh Jezu. Let's discuss Ejamar. He is living proof of a complicated truth. There are those among us that try to become one with society. If they fail, their next actions are as much a reflection of their characters as of society itself. For now, he is kind, but will he always be? Let's discuss Ilmerian. A warrior who satisfies every carnal pleasure, but also hides alone in her room and speaks only to falcons. She'd make an excellent druid. Or Muriel doesn't talk to you much. She fears what is wild, because she is wild, and expands her energy, imprisoning that part of her. She is her own jailer, that way. Sebastian seems to really respect you. He believed the world to be civilized. But now he fears that the world was always untamed and he just wasn't smart enough to realize it. I show him that being uncivilized is a good thing. Surely I was an elf before being second woken, you know? She was always a vampire. Her thirst is a wanting that can never be satisfied. She was born with that. You and Bagdal don't seem to get on. He claims to be willing to die to do what's right, but he did nothing when his legion marched through my home and destroyed it. Where was his glory then? What did this act earn? You've been through a lot. I'd like to talk about how you're doing. The forests surrounding Ilian need a druid, the gardens need a tender hand, and you need me to honor my beast bond. By the seasons of my body, I am fulfilled. Dobra, mamy kolejną postać, z którą porozmawialiśmy i teraz porozmawiajmy jeszcze z tymi postaciami, może one coś będą chcieli od nas, chciały. The demons I want to make pay, there is another. I suspected there would be. He is a beast lurking in the depths of the path of flesh and flame. He chained me, made me. I did not want to do what I did. When he was done with me, he sent me to the pits. He must pay. About the demon we're hunting. The Ziminar, holed up in the northeast passages. It waits for death. We will earn. Okej, kolejne mamy zadanie chyba. Z kim jeszcze nie rozmawiałem. Orion na koniec, Corisandra. In Corisandra's chapel you find a high priestess furiously polishing the various icons of Nevenda's many faiths. You seem vexed. It's Ilmiren, a demon of her stature. Here in Ilian, I'll pray with everything from a death knight to a dark assassin. But that? She can't even step into the temple without the blessed stone burning her feet. If she burned herself, that means she tried. That's already more than most demons would do. Meet her in her tomb and pray with her there. And if she eats me alive, then your blessed skin burns her from the inside out and you both die doing what you love. That's reassuring. Okej, z Charlie'ą żeśmy rozmawiali. Edgemar zostaje. Ah, young fiend, there you are. Tell me, what do you know of us necromancers? Not much, frankly. Then we go on an expedition of enlightenment. My first walk-in was a plump old thing named Hobart Delisle IV. My crows have spotted him in the drifts of Wotan's grave. With him, the ritual of the crow's dance can begin. I think you're going to like it. I assume you don't just want to go to Wotan's grave to talk. I don't want to go anywhere to talk, young fiend. I want death, sacrifice and power. Okej, czyli porozmawialiśmy ze wszystkimi. Ja sobie jeszcze tylko pozwolę coś sprawdzić. Bo ja nie pamiętam, czy ja poszedłem do tego małego demona, żeby mu oddać to zadanko. O właśnie. Wrócimy sobie do niego na szybko. Zapomniałem o tym zadaniu w ostatnim odcinku. Ten odcinek w ogóle sobie zakończymy, bo ja praktycznie niecałe 20 minut czytałem, także jakbym miał teraz zacząć normalny odcinek, to trwałby on ponad godzinę, a tego nie chcemy. Nie wiem, czy jesteście w stanie znieść tyle moich wypocin i gadania. Czemu mi zmienił zadania? O właśnie, tutaj. Return to the trader to exchange for Horkos. O, bo to nie było to zadanie. No nie wiem, mniejsze z tym. Dobra, muszę spojrzeć na mapę, gdzie on był, bo zapomniałem. Tu jest Elven Camp. Tu jest Verantor, czyli on gdzieś jest za mną. To by było gdzieś tutaj. Albo tam. O proszę. Żelazo. Niezebrane. Tutaj jest. You're back. What have you found? I don't know what it proves, but in the tombs I found a crystallized tear. I can't explain it, but I think it's tear of Bethrezena himself. Vikarum'a and the scholars push forward, eager to see their theories proven. It's clearly not Bethrezena's. We were right. We were right all along. Give it to us. I'm certain it's a tear of Bethrezena. I can feel it. Feel it? Are you hearing yourself? There is not feeling. Scholarly pursuits. Now give it to us. First of all, this crystal is too important to entrust to someone who can't fight to protect it. Second of all, you're wrong, so I'm keeping it. No, we are the only ones who truly understand your rubble would keep this world an ignorant darkness. Scholars draw weapons and angrily circle your party. Ah, so now you're willing to fight. O, come on, i będziemy walczyć, no. Jeszcze na pożegnanie. O, tak dosyć blisko sobie stanęli. Teraz pytanie, na kim my się chcemy skupić ogółem? Nie będę ryzykował, nie będę się wychylał w ogóle. No tak, zapomniałem o tym. O, oni tutaj mają jakąś inną ciekawą jednostkę. Taką naszą Ilmilian. O, come on, zmisowałeś naprawdę. No i prawie. Dobra. No tak, przecież. Zaatakuję w ten sposób, żeby łucznik się tak nie mógł za bardzo skupić. Nie łucznik, tylko healer. Dobra, i teraz następuje tura przeciwnika, taka trochę. No, Charlie'a troszeczkę słabo wygląda. Dobra, tamta raczej też będzie leczyć. No a nie, jednak nie. Dobra, nie ma tragedii ogółem. Nie za dużo mu tego życia zostało. Bardzo dobrze. Dobrze. Jezu, dalej masz tak tego życia dużo. Wziął mnie kurczę, unieruchomił w miejscu. Ja chciałem akurat użyć tej takiej fajnej zdolności tym naszym kolegą, koleżanką, czyli obszarówki, żeby też przy okazji wyleczyć. No zaś tego nie trafił, nie wierzę w to. No nie, trochę bez... chociaż... może być. No i okej. Dobra, polecimy tutaj, bo ten łucznik tu chyba miał mało życia. O Jezus Maria, naprawdę ja to w ten sposób zrobiłem? No tak, bo tu jest wazon. No, trochę to zwaliłem. Dobra, i tu się nią przeniosę do przodu. Świetnie. Nie wiem, czy nie wymienię tego paladyna na tego Querro leoparda, bo on ma za każdym razem ten kontratak. No i to by się przydało, nie ukrywam. Runda trzecia, Charlia zaczyna. Ale ona nie dobiegnie chyba tutaj, chociaż nie, da radę. No trochę to zwaliłem w sumie. Jak mogłem sobie tu stanąć, bym tego użył. Mogę ewentualnie nią i tutaj... a, nie doleci, szkoda. Okej. Czemuś się na dół nie ruszyła, no? Sobie odpuszczę. Bardzo dobrze. Ona ma jakieś... nie ma nic. Szkoda mi trochę marnować tej zdolności. Ale niech będzie. Z drugiej strony, jakbym pomyślał, to mogłem nim przecież wrąbnąć tą kulą ognia. Ale dobra, mniejsza z tym.
You look succulent. Quickly. You're done.
No ona raczej powinna paść na samego poisona i tak dalej.
I have my shot.
I call on his holy fury. Feel his wrath.
Dobra, pójdę go wykończę. Bardzo dobrze. A no tak, za każdym razem zapominam o tym. Dobra, Wiana, sorry, muszę na ciebie rzucić kulę. Ale mam nadzieję, że mi to wybaczysz. Dobra, każdy swój ruch wykonał, teraz możemy sobie tutaj zawalczyć
I hunger for battle.
kolejną rundę
I like
naszymi jednostkami.
Stand down. Meet your fate.
Dobra, i ten to już tutaj jest osaczony ostro, więc... No, raczej padnie.
Father, guide my blade.
Się rozsypał. Dobra. A cóż, zeszło nam prawie pół godziny z tego czytania książki, że tak powiem. I walki z przeciwnikiem. Attacked over a stupid crystal. Maybe it's more valuable than I thought. For Vikarum'a, there was nothing more valuable than his scholarly pursuits. May his blood be thick. May his blood be thick. No i przy okazji tutaj, jak widzicie, awansowaliśmy sobie na kolejny poziom. Możemy wrócić do Ilian. Widzę, że nasze zasoby też są przepełnione, więc weźmiemy sobie. Możemy sobie tutaj czary wynaleźć, wyuczyć się. Tylko jeszcze jakiś fireball był. Ale to jest tier drugi, ok. Czyli to byśmy musieli po prostu sobie postać ulepszyć. Ale tego na razie nie będę robił, bo jakby nie spojrzeć, to ono tymi czarami w ogóle nie walczy, więc bez sensu trochę. Dobra, teraz weźmiemy sobie szczęście, kolejny poziom. Bardzo dobrze. No i co ja mogę wam powiedzieć? W tym momencie oczywiście zakończymy sobie ten odcinek, a w kolejnym już wyruszymy na nowe terytorium. Dzięki wielkie za uwagę. Do zobaczyska.